of Stargate Atlantis, Torri Higginson.
How's everyone doing? Holy cow. You guys all must be exhausted. I am exhausted just because it's been 2 years of almost complete isolation. And now like 24 hours of just people. And it's been so beautiful and my heart is exploding and my body and my nervous system is in shock. And I imagine a lot of you feel the same way. So I'm glad we're all in the same club with that. I think I was in Bonn about 10, 12 years ago for a teeny little hotel con. I have great memories. Oh, I was in Düsseldorf too, but I was also in Bonn, I believe. I've been in a lot of places in Germany. I like Germany a lot. What I find crazy though is I've never made it to Berlin. What's up with that? Hopefully next year. Big, huge shout out to the TekWar stragglers. There's some people in this audience as old as me. Bless your hearts. Bless your hearts for knowing that old nugget. It was very exciting to work with William Shatner, that's for sure. I was very, very nervous. It was my very first gig out of theater school, and I was very nervous, and he was very gallant and kind. And now he's been to space, so that makes him even cooler, right? Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Yeah, so I thought I'd recite some Shakespeare for you tonight. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But a thing that I used to talk about a lot when I first started out doing sci-fi, I was a bit snobby about it, because I did start with theater and Shakespeare, and I was a bit snobby about television, a bit snobby about sci-fi. And I love what you guys have taught me. You've taught me to understand the genre, you've taught me to love the genre, and you've also taught me that if Shakespeare was around now, he would be writing for this genre. I have no doubt he would, because it's the most expansive and the most inclusive. And yeah, thank you guys for that education. Woo! Shakespeare's And I think we could probably do a remake of all of his plays in space. And that would be pretty cool. One day, I'll work on that. Hi.
Hi. It's so lovely to have you here.
Oh, lovely to be here.
My question is sadly not about TekWar, but about Stargate Atlantis. There was an episode in season 1, I think it was called Before I Sleep, where you met your 10,000 year older self. And I was really impressed with the makeup. And I wondered if you could tell us something about shooting this episode.
Thank you. I'd love to talk about that episode. That makeup was done by Todd Masters, who's got a very apt name because he is master of prosthetics in every way. And it was so extraordinary because he does the whole face, mold, and he works on it. And you go in and he does the whole mask bed, and then you don't see the work he's done until you come to shoot the first day of that episode. And when he put all this stuff on, and we started I'd get there about 3 in the morning. It took about 4 hours to get the makeup on. So by the time I got it done, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I recognized my grandmother, who was my favorite Earthling, I must say. And she had actually just died about 2 years before that happened. So I was extremely moved and amazed at, because he didn't ask for pictures of my family. He just looked at my face and tried to figure it out. And I hope he got it right, because I thought it was pretty hot for 10,000 years old. I mean, I think I look younger than I do right now, but that's, just COVID. But it was a beautiful episode to do. I loved that whole idea. I loved how it filled out Weir and her love of humanity and her desire to connect and her willingness to sacrifice for the bigger good. I'm getting very warm, so I'm going to start taking things off, but it's not going to go farther than the jacket. Don't worry. Woo. But what I found so interesting for me in Stargate was I didn't get to work with a lot of the other actors a lot of the time, right? I was always in my little room telling them to go off and be safe. And I was jealous of them because they got to go and work together and have fun together, and I was sort of in and out and acting with green screens a lot of the time. And a couple of the Weir-centric episodes that I had, I was still acting with myself. So that episode, they hired a body double to play whichever version of Weir I was not playing at the moment, and they would film over her shoulder. But so I had her, and it was an actress, which is wonderful, but essentially in the cut I was still just acting with myself. I was like, hey, that's weird. But I loved the episode. I really enjoyed doing it, and yeah, thank you for asking. And there's a wonderful woman here today. I met her at the photo shoot yesterday, and she'd made this long dress. She's here with her daughter. I don't know if she's here in the audience, but she reminded me of that Weir. She had this beautiful gray hair, and she had this long, beautiful gray dress with all the Stargate symbols at the bottom, and my heart just, she reminded me of old me, and I love that. Are you there? There you are. Oh my gosh, you made me so happy. There you are. I so saw Weir there. I just love that. Thank you. I am going to take my shirt off, and I'm probably sweaty underneath now. Oh my gosh, everybody look away, look away. But thanks, you know, very generous. All right. Is there another question? Well, there is. Hi.
Hi. Thanks so much for coming. That's actually one thing I liked about this con being postponed over and over again.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yes, sorry. Thanks for coming. It's one thing I liked about this con being postponed over and over again because you were able to come.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. I hope my English will feel me. Yeah, there's a lot of fan fiction. I don't know if you ever read some, but that's how fans can share their ideas of what the characters do when they are not in scenes. I wondered what you would say what Dr. Weir's favorite thing were to do on the rare occasion where she had free time.
Oh, I've got so many different answers for that. The first one that comes to my mind is always very naughty, and now I'm tired. So they're probably apt to come out, but I'm going to try to behave myself. We always sort of wanted them to have, none of you probably remember the show MASH, but they had their own distillery. We always wondered, where was the distillery on Atlantis, right? There's a bunch of scientists, a bunch of engineers. They know what they're doing. I think Weir figured out how to make a really nice wine. You know, the younger guys were fine with some sort of moonshine hooch, but she was, I think, working on how to make some kind of Pegasus champagne. I think that was her secret passion. I think she also might have been working on trying to get somebody to make a replica robot dog, because I think she missed her dog a lot. I might be projecting. I've been away from home for 2 weeks now. I'm missing my dog. Yeah, I think that would be it.
I absolutely love that answer, thank you. Also, it would have been great to have Seth on Atlantis too.
It would have been, right? Like every time we went home, she was there on Earth, but I was like, why didn't she come to Atlantis? She would have been great. And dogs, right? They can smell disease, they can smell fear, they can smell COVID, they can smell things before, so it would have been a very smart scientific experiment to have a little pooch.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your question. You look fabulous, by the way. Nice outfit.
Hi, Torri.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Is that Doreen? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Hi. Sometimes my brain works, not very often, but...
So great to see you again. I have a two-part question, but it's not about Atlantis, if that's okay. I absolutely loved your performance in this live, even though you made me cry in almost every episode. And I was wondering, how difficult was it for you emotionally to play this role? Like, did you have difficulties to shake it off, the mindset afterwards? And the second part is, if the show could have continued, would you have liked for her to get miraculously, to get cured by the end?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for knowing that show. Thank you for watching that show. That show meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me. It was a show that I shot in Montreal a couple of years ago. The premise was, it sounds very depressing, but it wasn't that depressing. There was lots of life in it. It was about a family who's one of the members, my character was a single mother, and she discovers the very first episode that she's going to die of cancer, and she's got some kids, and so it's about how do I come to terms with my mortality, and how do I make sure my kids are going to be okay. So it's very moving. I get choked up even just thinking about it. But the point of it was not about, I actually wanted the show to go on, and I wanted her to die, because I think the show was about how we deal with that loss in our life, how we deal with that, I mean, it's a reality, it's a continuum, and it is, I'm just going to go on segues here. I was just in Prague last week, and I went to the Jewish cemetery. Everyone told me to go to the Jewish cemetery. And I went, and I bought my tickets, and at first I went in, the cemetery didn't make me sad, right? Because it is inclusion. It is cyclical. We're all a part of it. And the other thing that so I'm going all over the place. I had also 2 years before I got cast in that, I had 2 months in a hospital in Paris, and I didn't know if I was going to leave that hospital. So I had a lot of time to think about my own mortality. And when I came out of that experience, I was very confused about, we're supposed to be really grateful for the second chance, but at the same time, you feel vulnerable for the first time, you feel your mortality. So I was really confused about how to place what was going on in my own psyche. And so that to be given an opportunity of this character to explore that was a gift. It was an absolute gift. And there are some days that, yeah, I felt very weak, and I felt very sad and very scared. I remember speaking to another actress who said, I wouldn't want to play that part because I wouldn't want to resonate with that illness every day. I would be worried that I was calling it to me. And I said to her, but if you feel you could call it to you, then don't you feel you could call it away from you as well? Like I think that our denial of death doesn't make us more alive, you know? And the Buddhists, they meditate on death daily, because the more we really look at it, actually the more alive you feel, the more present you are, the more aware you are that this is fleeting, this too is impermanent, and there's sort of a comfort with that. So that's what I found when you go to cemeteries, there's a comfort, because there's a cyclical thing that happens that's really beautiful. So that show meant so much to me on all of those levels. And how the heck did you watch it? Oh, you're an internet spy. Good girl. You probably all are. Thank you so much, though. Thank you, darling. Hello.
Hello. I didn't expect that line. First,
We feel.
yeah, first big greetings from Czech fans from last weekend in Prague.
Oh, you're there?
Yeah, we loved you there. Just, I had to say that because they would kill me if I wouldn't. But my question is about Dark Matter, because it was a very different character from Weir. So how did you approach it? And how did you feel playing it? Because she's kind of a bitch. Thanks.
Oh my gosh, I'm so hot and sweaty. I apologize. Like my glasses are sweating up, my pits are steaming up, other way around, you know what I mean? So I apologize for that. Thank you. Dark Matter. Does anybody else know Dark Matter here? Awesome. I think it's a fun show. And it was funny because I was asked to audition for it. And actors, we get a little bit of an ego, and it's Joe Malozzi and Paul Mooley's show, and I'm like, don't you guys know me? And then I thought, oh yeah, you guys killed me off Stargate. Don't you not like me? So why are you asking me to audition? So I had all this like mad insecurity and ego stuff I had to grapple with. But at the end I thought, whatever, I'm going to audition. You know, we're just working actors. We're, you know, we got to earn our keep, earn our kibble. So I did the audition, and I'm really glad that I didn't let my ego get the best of me, and I didn't say to my agent, no way, you should know my work. I'm not going to audition for this small part. Because initially, she was only supposed to be in 1 or 2 episodes. But I auditioned. I saw Joe. I was able to say to Joe, why did you hire me for this? I thought you hated me. You wrote me out of Stargate. So I was able to have that fabulous conversation, which was much needed. And Joseph and I have become friends, which I so appreciate because he is a delightful human being. And then the character ended up being extended, and I ended up to pop in for, I think, over 3 seasons. I popped in a couple episodes. I found the character because I was a bit worried because I usually get cast as pretty nice people. I have a habit of getting cast. I don't know where that comes from. It's weird, but I get like smart and good-hearted people. I think it's cheekbones and brown hair. I don't know. I don't know what it is now. Anyway, but I was sort of going, how am I going to play her and not be two-dimensional? I want to bring in more than just the bitch. And then I saw the outfit, and when I saw that collar on that shirt and that jacket, I went, oh, dudes, no acting required. Just strut in that uniform. So wardrobe has full responsibility for Commander Truffault. They get to own her, I think. I just got the joy of wearing her.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and give my love to Paul. I fell in love every time. Hi.
Up here.
Where are we? Oh, hello.
Hi. Talking about Dark Matter, was quite a different show to Atlantis, which was established from the SG-1 fandom and everything before. Can you tell us about the differences between those 2 shows? And especially that you were main cast in Atlantis and a recurring guest on Dark Matter.
You'd like me to talk about that? You'd like me to talk about what it feels like to be demoted as an actor?
Feel like, we are in a therapy group. So
let's all just go to the bar, order some wine, and get down and dirty.
Okay, let me think. 3/4 of an hour?
You got it, my friend.
No problem.
As a Canadian, we don't have a whole lot of, I'm sure we have ego. We have a different set of expectations, I think, than a lot of American actors. Just because we're a smaller country, we have less money. I used to always, jokingly say I'm Welsh and Canadian, so I have no ambition or ego. I am the poor cousin to England and America in both sides of my DNA. So I don't have expectations. I don't get a job and go, oh, well, that's it. I'm always going to be number 1 or number 2 in a show. It really doesn't work that way. You still have a grapple. As I said before, I was a little bit, doesn't our work in the past mean anything? I have to audition. But as Joseph said to me, this is a very different character than Weir, so we need to know that you can do it. So yeah, there's that stuff that doesn't bother me that way. As far as the 2 shows being very different, yeah, they were. I mean, Joe and Paul, they came on. It was Brad and Robert's show, Stargate. They came on to Stargate and started writing for Brad and Robert's concept. Dark Matter was their concept, so it was their own show, and they got to make it more theirs, and they got to make it more their humor, and I think they did a really lovely job. Yeah. Cool. I'm glad you liked it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I feel like I should stand up. Hello.
Hi. So great to see you. I'm currently rewatching Stargate Atlantis again, and I'm really getting into the characters of Elizabeth, obviously, and also Taylor. And these 2 don't interact a lot on the screen, which is so sad. I kind of started shipping them, but yeah. So my question is if you could explore the relationship between Elizabeth and Taylor a bit more, what would they look like?
I love you asked that question. Rachel and I spoke a lot about this when we were shooting. I mean, I believe that they would have been great friends. I believe they would have been great resources for each other as well. I believe that Taylor would have felt, you know, Elizabeth was somebody to talk to understand the culture more, to understand what women's role was in that culture. I think there have been all kinds of interesting philosophical discussions between the two of them. I personally went to Brad and Robert a lot saying, now that we're stuck in this place, Weir wouldn't want to be a liability. And she's coming with no military training, no physical training, no self-defense training. And she wouldn't want to utilize the resources on Atlantis to protect her. If they were under attack, she would want to be there helping. So we were always like, why don't we have scenes of Taylor teaching Elizabeth some of her work, some of her warrior activities? I thought that was a madly missed opportunity. I thought it would have been a really beautiful, beautiful relationship. And still to this day, we still fight on television to have two women together not talking about men, right? Two women together just talking about what they need, who they are. And so I think it was a missed opportunity. And however much I think the Stargate franchise did a lot for making women visible in non-traditionally female roles, they missed that one opportunity, I think. But I love that you saw that. And bring on the ship in, that's cute. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, darling. Hello.
Hi there. I was wondering, I know that on Stargate Atlantis, the vast majority of the expedition are Canadians who are given a jacket with a flag on it that says, you are now German or you are now from the UK or something like that. But as yourself, as Dr. Weir, like literally in charge of an international expedition representing the entire planet to a whole new galaxy, did that like come through to you, or have to like act that I am literally the representative of the entire planet Earth, not just America or the US military like SG-1 was? But did you kind of think about that when Dr. Weir?
I did. I thought about it a lot. I mean, I also thought about why she had a flag on her, because I think if you are there as, you know, we are all there as representatives of the planet, not of specific countries. At the same time, I also begged them to put a Welsh flag somewhere, and they're like, well, there's a Scottish flag. Why isn't there a Welsh flag? But the bigger picture is, and I mean, there really shouldn't have been any flag, because you know, I'm asked at these conventions a lot if you believe in life on other planets, and I always say I believe in all questions, and I'm not sure about any answers, but I do know that we would just need one visit for sure in daylight for us all to become the same tribe, right? All the ridiculousness you hear on the news every single day, and it breaks my heart, between countries, between religions, between sexualities, between gender. I mean, all of this ridiculous shit, excuse my language, but we are on the same tribe. We are all Earthlings sharing this beautiful planet, and I don't get it. I don't get the divisiveness. So I think Weir would have felt that same way too, is that we are here representing Earthlings, humans, and we are here because we want to know other living creatures. We want to share ideas and exchange knowledge. We don't want to own or power or put a flag of we won. Yeah. Yeah, you guys helped me on that too.
Hi. What was your craziest or weirdest moment on the set of the crew?
The weirdest or craziest moment? Oh my gosh, it was a long time ago and I'm old. I don't remember what I had for breakfast. I mean, there were a lot. There was a lot of completely, you know, I remember the first moment walking into that set and seeing this extraordinary set that looked like it was made as a Frank Lloyd Wright building or something. It was begging for a musical number and a dance routine down that staircase. And I thought, what world have we landed on? so exciting from the beginning. And then having, you know, guest stars. We worked with some extraordinary people that I had grown up watching on TV going, oh my gosh, this is remarkable. And the other extraordinary thing is this experience. Since shooting that, I have been invited, we've all been invited to travel the world, to meet people all over the world. And it is a privilege that I am grateful for every single second. What happens when you're on a show the day to day is it's a job, and you're working a lot of the time 14, 15 hours, and so you get tired. It's always lovely at the end of the days, at the end of the weeks, where people get a little bit punch drunk, and they're just so tired that everything is funny. Everything is funny. It's like sitting in a puddle jumper, which I didn't have to do that often, but when I did, and all of a sudden, I don't know who was responsible, but there was definitely somebody with a digestion issue. And it's a small space, and Christopher Judge would have felt very comfortable there. And so that you're laughing, going, this is ridiculous, we're adults, why are we laughing at bodily functions? But you just do, you just get you get silly and you get joyful, and then the crew gets mad at you because they're tired, and you gotta finish the scene and get on with it. The other thing I loved about our show is it was a huge dog love show. All the producers had dogs, all the writers had dogs, all the actors had dogs, the hair and makeup people had dogs. There was moments in the hair and makeup trailer that there were more dogs in the trailer than there were people. So joyous, so joyous. And I remember a couple of days where people were getting short-tempered on, you know, set. Either things were breaking down, the day was going longer, actors were getting irritated, directors were short-tempered. And I remember, I think it was Joe Maluzzi who came down. He said, everybody out in the parking lot, all the dogs out, 10 minutes of puppy play. It was magic. Everybody came back so happy and energized and forgot about all of their egos. And that kind of stuff was really, really beautiful. And that was Brad and Joe and all those guys who created that environment, which I'm always grateful to them for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, good evening. It's a pleasure to meet you. So, to be honest, when I first watched Atlantis, I had difficulty falling in love with Elizabeth. Simple reason, I just watched Star Trek Voyager. And I saw Janeway, and I loved Janeway, and then there was Weir, and I was like, what is she doing there? Is it just another Janeway?
How can there be two women leaders? That's
so
wrong.
I wonder, did you know Voyager, and is there some kind, you just spoke of a strong woman in TV, so I wonder, was there some kind of thinking we should be like this or that strong woman I know? Was there some kind of connection between Weir and some other strong woman? Or would you have wished for something like that?
Oh, well, I mean, it's funny, I was just talking to somebody earlier today about this. When I grew up watching a lot of television. You know, I was born 60s. So I grew up sort of 70s. That was my television time mostly. Before the 80s, I was a teenager running around, not wanting to watch TV anymore. But so I had amazing people. I had Mary Tyler Moore. I had Rhoda. I had these very strong women on TV who were making choices that weren't the norm. I had my grandmother and her 6 sisters in southwest Wales who were farmers and were up every morning at 4 in the morning and milking cows. And I was surrounded by strong women in my family lineage. I was in love with Patti Smith by the time I was 14 years old. So to me, it was never something you had to strive to be. It's just some humans have inner strength, some humans have outer strength. We all have some kind of strength. I wasn't focused on that so much. I didn't think about how do I portray her as a strong woman. I just thought about who is this character, what is this scene, what do I need to do? Yeah, and maybe I missed an opportunity for that. I mean, I know that she wasn't received hugely well to begin with. There was a lot of very angry people on the internet when I first showed up as Weir, which is a shocking thing to read as an actor. But Yeah, I didn't. I took it personally for a minute, and then I went, "That's not my responsibility to make you understand her. You have every right to like her and not like her." I think that I wish we would stop using the phrase "a strong female leader." You know, we have leaders. I wish we would stop genderizing. We're not there yet. We're trying to get there, so I understand why we're still doing it. But I think the sooner we just go, are you a good leader? Are you a strong leader? Are you an empathetic leader? Do you lead with your head? Do you lead with your heart? Do you lead with your instincts? And if we focus more on the adjectives, not on the gender, I think we would move a bit more faster. And I think we're almost there. So I think it's, yeah, I think that's our next step. But I was very honored to meet her. There's this strange art exhibit I was invited to do with this artist in London, and he was taking all these photographs of different leaders in science fiction, and she was a part of it. And I was so honored to be aligned with something she was a part of. So I recognized that I think for her it was a different issue than me, because she'd been doing it a good 10 years before me. So, yeah. Is that clear? I don't know. Let's get to the restaurant, have a drink. Anyways, yes, hi.
My question is, what was the funniest moment of Stargate Atlantis?
What was the finest?
Funniest.
Funniest? She just asked me that over there too. It's such a strange question to answer. There was lots of funny moments. I mean, funny moments that you were just not, they weren't funny, but you were tired and you were all connected, so you just start laughing. It was definitely when Jace Momoa showed up. He's a big personality with a lot of energy, so he brought a lot of lightness and a lot of ridiculous energy to set, which was super, super enjoyable. And it's also very good when you're doing a series. I've done about 6 or 7 of them now, and by the second or third year, people can sort of get into a rhythm. So it's really nice when you have a different energy come in and just sort of shake it up. And he did that in wonderful ways that I think left us all a little bit slap-jawed the first few months of, oh my gosh, okay. But he was very, very cheeky. Yes, that was funny. You're like, what? How cheeky? Cheeky how? I don't know, just cheeky.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. Well, I'm so bad with those funny stories. I gotta come and write them down. I got in trouble with Prague in Prague last week too, going, why don't you go home? Because you always remember at 3 in the morning, oh, why didn't I tell that story? And then I never remember to write them down at 3 in the morning. But I'll try next time. Hello, Glitter.
Hello.
Hello, you're all sparkly beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is, you have played so many roles. So is there a role you very prefer or you want to play? So you have a dream of it?
It's so funny, I was having this conversation with an actor the other day, and I focus more now because of my age on the roles that I realize I'll never get to play. That I've gone, oh shoot, I'm too old for that. I'll never get to play that. And that's sort of a funny moment in your life. You go, oh wow, yeah. I've never really, I mean, when I was younger, I think I wanted to do Juliet and, you know, I wanted to do all that kind of stuff. But I think now it's not so much a particular role. I want to play somebody that I feel I have a connection with, or I feel there's a purpose to the story, that I understand that I hope it might resonate in a way. Be it gonna make somebody laugh, or make somebody cry, or, you know, you want to have that. I do now feel a bit of a responsibility as a woman getting older, and I'm juggling a bit too of, you know, you want to be a strong woman, because I get so many letters from young women saying thank you. And that's something I've spoken to Rachel, but I used to be very jealous because she got all these letters from men saying, you're so beautiful. I'm like, I don't get those letters. But I got millions of letters from young women saying, you're so strong, and thank you. And I had to get over my ego to go, oh, shoot, that's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. And that has resonated so much with me, and it's been such a gift for me. And I just hope I can continue to play characters that resonate, because that's why we do what we do, right? I mean, I think all we ever want in life is to connect. I mean, that's what art is about. That's what, you know, friendship is about, like that's what we want to do is connect. That's what love is about. And so to play a character that connects to people, that's the bee's knees. So I hope to do a few more of those.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And you look so beautiful. Thank you. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
After you left Stargate Atlantis, your character was sent off in, I would say, rather disgraciously way. So, you appeared once at the end of an episode for just one scene, and then later on, Elizabeth Weir returned as a consciousness in an android body, I don't know. But what did you feel about how the character ended, and what kind of feedback from fans did you get regarding this, saying, oh, that's a shame, we're sorry for you, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how life works. When I was offered the role, I begged for a 3-year contract. They said, you have to have a 5-year contract. I was in my 30s going, don't tie me down, I'm free. I don't want to, I can't commit to 5 years, that's forever. But they said, no, this is what we do. Everyone's going to do 5 years. Stargate's gone 10 years. We've got to make sure all this thing. So I signed the contract for 5 years. Come to the end of the 3rd year, they're like, yeah, we're kind of done with you. So there's a part of me going, oh, that's what I wanted. But the other part of me's going, oh, but I wanted to want it. I didn't want you to want it. That weird thing, you're about to leave the party, and then someone says you should go. And you're like, really? Why? I'm staying. So I had a bit of that feel. They came to me, I understood that Joseph and Paul were making the show theirs, and they wanted to put their fingerprint on it, and they had their arcs, they wanted to follow through it, so that was a part of them owning it for themselves. A thing I didn't find out until Dark Matter, because at the moment I just assumed it's because they hated me. We're also insecure, right? All of us, kind of, I think. Maybe just me. I think we all know. But where was I going? I lost my track.
Whether you received feedback from fans or what you thought about that.
Got you, thank you. Yes, so they came to the end of the 3rd year and they said, this is what we're planning, and she'll just come back and do intermittent episodes. If you don't want to do that, then we can just write you out and we'll just, you'll smash into the glass and be dead. And I went, no, I'll come back and do intermittent episodes. That's all right. All of a sudden, my, paycheck was going away, and I was nervous and scared and sad to leave Vancouver and sad to leave my friends, and so I had all of that. But then what they did with her for season 4, I think I was back for 2 episodes. I think it was two, maybe even 3, slightly, but this little bits, and I didn't feel it was a lot. And I was getting a lot of letters from fans that were really upset with how she was discarded. So I sort of felt a strange confusion because I'm an actor. My job is to do what they tell me, how they write the part. I have time and respect for all those writers and producers. I also then had a sense of loyalty to the fans. But mostly I felt a sense of loyalty to Weir, and I felt that they were kind of just letting her float around in space, then bringing her in for, I didn't feel they were honoring her. I didn't feel that her journey had been honored, and I said, if you guys can let me know what your plans are with her and what her arc is going to be, I'd be happy to come back and be a part of it, but I feel right now it's not enough, and I think she deserves a little bit more of a landing place, and they didn't yet know what they were going to do with her, so they said they couldn't. So then I said, well, I won't come back for season 5. So yeah, and sometimes I regret that. It would have been nice to finish her, but I don't think she is finished. She's still floating around as a replicator somewhere. So maybe she's built an entire galaxy filled with enlightened replicators. Who knows?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Season 28. You too. Hi.
Hi. So we already talked a little bit about women and women's roles, specifically at Stargate. And I know Elizabeth wasn't really well received in the beginning, but personally I think that it made a huge difference that suddenly we had a female and even more a civilian leader of suddenly this military expedition, which is also explored in the show. The military constantly tries to undermine Elizabeth, tries to grab her steering wheel, and she stays in power. And this ties into my question. Elizabeth is a diplomat. She has to keep all the boys from bashing their heads in. She has to run an entire expedition. How did that impact you personally? Was there ever a situation in which you channeled your inner Elizabeth and just thought, I'm just gonna stay out of that one?
Oh, that's so sweet. What a lovely question. I loved that she was non-military, and I recognize too that was a lot of why there's a lot of hate on her, because as you just said, Stargate was a very military-based show, and all of a sudden there's not only is it a woman, she's not military, and that offended a lot of people. She has come to me a lot in my life. I mean, I miss her, and I think I've also learned to love her even more.
You miss her too.
Bless you guys. And you're so kind, but you guys really did. You helped me love her. I mean, when I saw how much she was resonating with people, and the way she was resonating with people, not how much, the way she was resonating, I was very moved, and I had to rethink my preconceptions about her, because I was frustrated. You know, I wanted more to do as an actor. I wanted her to have more to do when she was there. I wanted her to have more effect. I wanted there to be more exploration of the diplomacy. And it's sort of interesting though, but there is a reality to how the show worked out. That's what would probably happen in real life too, right? It's a very different approach. I kind of think of her a little bit as your Angela Merkel. Like there's a similar, you know, she's a politician in a word, and not to get into politics, but I know she's about to pass the baton, and I find it quite extraordinary that this woman has been a leader for 16 years. I mean, in the Western world, that's rare to have somebody keep the job for that long without huge strife. So whatever one's politics are, I think she comes with such a sense of groundedness and knowing how to make a decision because she is certain for herself it's the right decision, even if it's not the popular decision. And I think Weir had a little bit of that strength too. And when I remember to try to pull on it in my own life and don't act like the neurotic, frightened actor that I spend most of my time being, it's quite freeing. So I'm very grateful to her for that. Thank you. Hi. Is it time for a cartwheel? No. Oh, there's Nat. Yeah, we've got somebody right here at the microphone. Is it Nat? It is Nat.
It's me, Torri.
Hi, darling. I see you.
We see a lot of strong female kick-ass characters. That's the way we look at the stage, camera, etc., especially in sci-fi. But with Weir, she's very empathetic. That's where her strength lies. Do you think we should be seeing more of that when it comes to our sci-fi characters with our women, rather than just the kick-ass side of things?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's what I was saying before. Like, I don't think we are. Everybody has a strength. Everybody has a weakness. Everybody. Most of our strengths are our weaknesses, right? Most of our weaknesses are our strengths. And there's been this whole thing for years that women have to prove their way by going, I can do that too. Instead of going, no, I don't do that, but I do this. And this is just as powerful as that. It's just different. And you know, we get so narrow-minded into going, this is what success looks like, or this is what strength looks like, or this is what love looks like. And all of those really tight definitions of anything is what I think makes us blind to see the flowers on the other tree. So yeah, I think it'd be great to explore, and I think they try to do that with Weir. I mean, you know, they gave this character, they wrote her that she wasn't trying to rule with an iron fist and trying to say, yes, I'm a diplomat, but I'm going to deal with it with a military precision, and I'm going to deal with it with a military voice. She did it. She dealt with it with you know, an iron heart, not an iron fist. And I think that was her strength. And some people didn't like her for that, but I think the exposure to her, it warmed. Some people changed their mind because they learned, and she learned, and people grow. We grow, we're exposed to things that we're not used to seeing. And on television, you know, both with sexuality, with disabilities, with race, with religion, we've had a very myopic point of view for a long time, and we're opening that now, and it's beautiful. But we still have a whole lot more to open. We'll get there. We're still babies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, time is up. We've been reading that. Wow, time is up.
Yeah, it went by.
It went by. Oh my gosh.
Very fast. Torri Higginson.
You guys are amazing. Best for what?
Nay, do you know what is the best?
What is the best one?
You will be back.
I will be back.
Do you know when?
God, what? No, what?
Do you know when?
What? No.
When will you be back?
What is he talking about?
You will be back tomorrow.
Oh, hey.
On stage. Torri, thank you.